Hey, welcome to the Danger Zone. It's Ashley. Everything in this video was found on a public domain. The full disclaimer's down below. I wish you lots of love and many blessings. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I, for one, never want to say that somebody made up something super traumatic because I know what that feels like. And even looking at these pictures, everything comes flooding back and my emotions are just, ugh. Anyway, so I don't ever want to doubt somebody's truth. However, I had to take a minute and get myself together. Thank God I'm back. Here we go. It was a July morning that began as ordinarily as any other day. Make breakfast, feed the dogs, take vitamins, find that missing sock, pick up the road crayon that rolled under the table, throw my hair in a ponytail before getting my son from his crib. After changing his diaper, I felt a sharp cramp. I dropped to the floor with him in my arms, humming a lullaby to keep us both calm. The cheerful tune, a stark contrast to my sense that something was not right. I knew as I clutched my firstborn child that I was losing my second. Hours later, I lay in a hospital bed, holding my husband's hand. I felt the clamminess of his palm, kissed his knuckles, wet from both our tears. Staring at the cold white walls, my eyes glazed over. I tried to imagine how we'd heal. I recalled a moment last year when Harry and I were finishing up a long tour in South Africa. I was exhausted. I was breastfeeding our infant son. I was trying to keep a brave face in the very public eye. "Are you okay?" a journalist asked me. I answered him honestly, not knowing that what I said would resonate with so many new moms and older ones, and anyone who had, in their own way, been silently suffering. My off-the-cuff reply seemed to give people permission to speak their truth. But it wasn't responding honestly that helped me most. It was the question itself. "Thank you for asking," I said. "Not many people have asked if I'm okay." Sitting in a hospital bed watching my husband's heart break as he tried to hold the shattered pieces of mine, I realized that the only way to begin to heal is to first ask, "Are you okay? Are we?" This year has brought so many of us to our breaking points. Loss and pain have plagued every one of us in 2020. In moments both fraught and debilitating, we've heard all the stories. A woman starts her day as normal as any other, but then receives a call that she's lost her elderly mother to COVID-19. A man wakes feeling fine, maybe a little sluggish, but nothing out of the ordinary. He tests positive for the coronavirus, and within weeks, he, like hundreds of thousands of others, has died. A young woman named Breonna Taylor goes to sleep just as she's done every night before. But she doesn't live to see the morning because a police raid turns horribly wrong. George Floyd leaves a convenience store, not realizing he'll be taking his last breath under the weight of someone's knee. And in his final moments, he calls out for his mom. Peaceful protests become violent and health rapidly shifts to sickness. In places where there was once community, there's now division. On top of all of it, it seems that we no longer agree on what's true. We aren't just fighting over our opinions or facts. We're polarized over whether the fact is in fact a fact. We are at odds over whether science is real. We're at odds over whether an election's been won or lost. We're at odds over the value of compromise. That polarization, coupled with the social isolation required to fight this pandemic, has left us feeling more alone than ever. When I was in my late teens, I sat in the back of a taxi, zipping through the busyness and bustle of Manhattan. I looked out the window and saw a woman on her phone in a flood of tears. She was just standing on the sidewalk, living out a private moment very publicly. At that time, the city was new to me. I asked the driver if we should stop to see the woman needed help. He explained that New Yorkers live out their personal lives in public spaces. We love in the city, we cry in the street. Our emotions and stories there for anybody to see. I remember him telling me, "Don't worry, somebody on that corner will ask her if she's okay." Now, all these years later, in isolation and lockdown, grieving the loss of a child, the loss of my country's shared belief in what's true. I think of that woman in New York. What if no one stopped? What if no one saw her suffering? What if no one helped? I wish I could go back and ask my cab driver to pull over. This, I realize, is the danger of siloed living, where moments sad, scary, or sacrosanct are lived out all alone. There's no one stopping to ask, are you okay? Losing a child means carrying an almost unbearable grief, experienced by many, but talked about by few. In the pain of our loss, my husband and I discovered that in a room of 100 women, 10 to 20 of them will have suffered from miscarriage. Yet, despite the staggering commonality of this pain, the conversation remains taboo, riddled with unwarranted shame and perpetuating a cycle of solitary mourning. Some have bravely shared their stories. They've opened the door, knowing that when one person speaks truth, it gives license for all of us to do the same. We have learned that when people ask how many of us are doing, and when they really listen to the answer. An open heart and mind, the load of grief often becomes lighter for all of us. In being invited to share our pain together, we take the first steps toward healing. So this Thanksgiving, as we plan for a holiday unlike any before, many of us separated from our loved ones, alone, sick, scared, divided, and perhaps struggling to find something, anything to be grateful for, let us commit to asking others, are you okay? And as much as we may disagree, as physically distant as we might be, the truth is that we are more connected than ever because of all we have individually and collectively endured this year. We're adjusting to a new normal where faces are concealed by masks, but it's forcing us to look into one another's eyes, sometimes filled with warmth, other times with tears. For the first time in a long time, as human beings, we really are seeing one another. Are we okay? We will be. That was written by Meghan, and it was published in the New York Times, and it's called The Losses We Share. I'm going to tell you, I think this is a new low for them. Whether it happened or it didn't, the timing sucks for me, but it's perfect for them, and we'll talk about that in just seconds. But I want to tell you, I speak from experience. I've had 2 miscarriages. It is unbearable grief. But let me tell you, it's something super personal, extremely intimate. And you know, we are not prone to go around telling everybody and their brother about our most intimate experiences. You know what I mean? Unless the situation calls for it, I'm not bringing it up. And I think that's appropriate, not taboo. If she really wanted to share the losses, why in the world would she make it a political propaganda? It was political in every sense. The child that she lost, quote unquote, how many column inches in total out of that entire story did that child receive? 4? 5 lines? Not many. Compared to everything else she felt was far more imperative to include in the loss, in the grief, the unbearable grief that she and Harry shared in a hospital bed in the month of July 2020, when it was their busiest month since being in the United States. I find that disgusting. You guys, another thing I found quite foul and disgusting about this entire situation, I did some research today. I wanted to see what do celebrities, what do people in the spotlight do when they have messed up their reputation so badly that nobody trusts them, nobody wants to work with them, nobody wants to hire them, they're causing problems and burning bridges. I wanted to see, is there a comeback for this? And there is. There's public relation templates that they're to follow, guidelines, step by step, on how to rebuild your character, how to polish your crappy character back to life. And according to the template, it says not to forget the holidays. So, of course, they chose today of all days to drop this information in everybody's lap because it's supposed to turn our rotten feelings towards them into warm, fuzzy, holiday, love-filled feelings. You know what I mean? How disgusting. And they say to, know your audience. Who does she target? Young females. And it says, think like your audience. Well, hello. It says to join podcast. They recently did, Harry did. And then it goes on to say write your own story. This is nasty. Much I want to say about all of this, but I don't want to tie up your day. I'm just going to put this out there. I've had 2 miscarriages. It took me a minute to get back together with my thoughts, with my emotions. I didn't have the luxury of money in the bank. I didn't have the luxury of nannies to take care of my children or housekeepers. I had to get up and keep on going. They had a huge, busy July. Their July was just ginormous. And she didn't miss a beat. I did notice a couple of things about her. Her teeth were a lot different from one frame to the next, or from one video, my bad, to the next. So she had work done in the month of July. Maybe that was some sort of a gift to herself due to the big cramp that brought her down to the floor with her baby in her arms while she sang a lullaby. I don't know. Doesn't that sound crazy? Um, she must be superhuman. Because if I'm going to hurt that bad and fall to the floor with my baby in my arms, I'm certainly not going to be thinking quick enough to be humming lullabies, on our way down. And once I get there, the first thought in my head is not going to be a reflection back to last year when somebody asked me if I'm okay. Another thing that stood out to me, and then we'll shut up about this, but I'm really kind of pissed off, but was the fact that she said the cab driver told her that spiel about, here in New York, we cry on the streets, we love in the city, all this crap. I don't believe that either. That don't even make sense. You think a New York cab driver, who are busier than most people, they too busy to even talk to you, much less tell you a goobly gop crap line like that. I mean, that's like 20 minutes worth of philosophical, not, you know what I'm saying? I'm so aggravated, y'all. None of it made sense. It was ridiculous. If it happened, God bless. If it didn't, God's gonna get you, girl. That's all I'm gonna say. It just felt more politically driven and propaganda. It just felt like they were cleaning up their image. They hit all the sweet spots according to the PR template. None of it sounded, right. you know, I, I don't know. Stub your toe. If you stub your toe with your child in your arms, and you know how hard or how bad that hurts when you stub your toe, right? And you got your child in your arms, are you going to think to grit your teeth and sing a sweet lullaby? Really? If you are one of those, my hat's off to you. Really. I mean, I admire you. But the rest of the human population, we might not be cussing like sailors in front of our child, but and not trying to freak our kid out, but we're gonna respond like a human. I don't know. It just seemed a little far-fetched, a little out there, and it seemed a little deliberate. Okay? Anyway, you guys, I've jabbered on enough. I didn't even stick to what I was supposed to say. I ran off course. My bad. I'd love to know your thoughts, your honest to goodness thoughts. If you think I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. If you agree with me, I'd like to know. I really do appreciate y'all. Hope you're having a really good day. I'll see you soon. We'll talk faster. Have a happy and blessed Thanksgiving, okay? Y'all stay safe and be blessed.